answer these kind of questions, right?
Yeah,
Because
for me,
go ahead.
I just figured that they would know their stuff best, if that makes sense.
What is it that you want to get out from it, I guess?
I don't know, just to see if I'm right, I guess. But I get what. Like,
you have 3 questions, right? You have 3 questions you want to answer. What do you think you want to get out from them? Remember, these things are going to give you information to help you to answer your research questions. Okay, so think carefully about these things. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. That's not the purpose of this particular assignment. But the one thing that I did want to say something about it, I thought that was just wonderful. In terms of your 3 portions of it, phase, stakeholder, and what's the third one?
Image
theory. I thought I've seen good connections on all 3 of them. I'm not sure in your presentation you connected them, you synthesized them as well as you could be. Especially the phase part, the link to phase part. When you talk about how stakeholder theory and image theory, and I got that linkage, I got that synthesis. But the phase, I thought you were going to go into how phase as a concept influence stakeholder salience. And it's kind of similar to what you said about image theory, the value. I think the phase and the image theory are very, very similar in terms of how they can help you to understand management decisions on how to handle the situation. And you're absolutely correct. Stakeholder was power, legitimacy, and what's the other one? Power, legitimacy, something else. Huh? Urgency, yeah. So they focused on that, and I thought, okay, proximity. And then from the proximity transition to the value image, I love that part. I thought that was a good transition. But somehow phase has to go in there somewhere because it's as it stands right now, and you call your presentation, I'm not sure in your paper, phase is kind of stand alone as a concept, really have no connection or relationship to what you talk about stakeholder and image. And I thought, when you go into there, I thought, oh, wow, never thought of this. This is wonderful. Phase as a consideration to consider the salience of your stakeholders, especially given a different culture. I think this is, if you want to, this could be a paper. This could be a good paper. Because now, not only you're not just rehashing what happened with the Houston Rockets, this paper would contribute tremendously to an understanding of stakeholders, because stakeholder theory is written as a Western concept, and really I don't know how much cross-cultural relevance it has from the original stakeholder theory. This is a major contribution to a theoretical framework. I know you're writing comps, but this is going to be a really good paper start.
I'm a thesis guy.
Are you a thesis now?
Yeah.
Okay, like I said, this is really, I think the value is significant in contributing to a knowledge, theoretically speaking. Is immensely publishable.
That's good. I should speak to you about this when one of you.
Okay. All right. So thank you.
Thank you.
So good job. So which one, Christian and Wen Young, did you guys arm wrestle the seal go first?
Would you mind if I go first?
No, go for it.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, wrong screen. There you go. Let me just turn my light on. I'm getting dark in here.
get started. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yep, go.
Okay. So I'm gonna talk about the stakeholder salience and corporate social responsibility. My topic is about how stakeholder salience affects corporate social responsibility. So the reason why I conducted this study is that the importance of the CSR for sports organization has been increasing because these days the society try to demand the sports organization to have social responsibility. Also, basically, the sports organization are involved with the local community and they rely on the fans based on their area. Also, there's a lack of understanding stakeholders' role in terms of CSR, and there's a limited resource to do CSR marketing in business. So as the importance of CSR has been growing, identifying key stakeholders group is necessary in the professional sports because of the impact of diverse stakeholders on CSR. So here's a purpose. My goal of this study is to identify how important stakeholder salience is to sports teams, professional team sports, and just identify how stakeholder salience impact the CSR, and figure out how to focus CSR marketing resource on key stakeholders. So before moving on, I would like to define what is a stakeholder salience, and CSR. First, a stakeholder refers to any group or individual who can affect or is affected by the achievement of the organizational objectives. And stakeholder salience refers to the degree to which managers give a priority to competing stakeholder claims. Finally, CSR refers to the responsibility of the organization to be ethical and accountable to the needs of their society as well as to their stakeholders. So, who is the stakeholders? So, according to the Freeman, he divided two group of stakeholders to identify their roles in organization. So, external stakeholders and internal stakeholders. External stakeholders include customer, local community, stockholders, shareholders, and suppliers. Those stakeholders are influenced by achievement of organization. On the other hand, internal stakeholder includes employee, managers, owners, board member, and government. These stakeholder groups involves responsibility for implementing the organization project. So why stakeholder salience is important in sports organization? First, in business, dependence is inevitable for an organization in order to survive in competitive market. So mutual relationship between stakeholders and organizations is required to be successful. So first, organization must identify which stakeholders have the greater influence on them in order to successfully meet the demand from key stakeholders. Many failure of organization comes from insufficient strategy of identifying and addressing present and future stakeholders. So overall, the stakeholder salience is very important because it allows organization to prioritize stakeholder groups, which significantly influence the organization benefit. There is three attributes based on stakeholders. There's a power and urgency and legitimacy. Especially, these attributes beneficial to specifically understand the salience of the stakeholders. First, power is regarded as normative and coercive. In other words, stakeholders can exercise their power over the organizations to satisfy their needs, and the power arises from the dependency of the firms on the environmental actors for resources. So urgency refers to the need for immediate attention. It helps in identifying stakeholder groups who demand attention within constraint of the time. Final, legitimacy is the generalized perception that the action of the entity are desirable, proper, or appropriate within some socially constructed norms and belief and value. So these three attributes are helpful to identify key stakeholders. So when stakeholders are identified and prioritized, they could be categorized into priority groups, which makes it easier for organization to meet the stakeholders' demand. So why should a sports organization adopt CSR? There's many benefits from CSR activity in sports organizations. First, CSR activity can result in a positive impact on the sports team's image and long-term success of business organization. So when it comes to long-term plan, the CSR is beneficial to success in the competitive market. And the CSR activity increase purchase intention for consumers. This means that purchase intention is directly related to the organization revenue, which is one of the most important for organization. Also, stakeholders are positively evaluate the organization. So overall, CSR is helpful organization not only solve societal problem, but also gain benefit from CSR. So this is CSR from key stakeholder perspective. From customer perspective, CSR means the company provide better products and service while maintaining right quality and price of the product. Also, a company address issue related to the health, safety, and ethical aspect. From the employee's perspective, an employee-oriented company will commit a resource to promote employee welfare. So employers are expected to respect employees' right. So is the employee CSR is very important because when doing CSR for employee, the productivity and performance can increase. Finally, from community perspective, the community or the company address issues such as philanthropic giving, public-private partnerships, and social and economic development of the surrounding community. CSR is necessary for organization in the community because they are involved with the community and they have a responsibility to contribute to the development of the community. So here's my research question. How stakeholder salience plays a role in CSR activity? Does identifying salient stakeholder in professional sports organization help to maximize the effect of CSR marketing? So is it important to identify stakeholder groups who are salient for the organization? So I would like to implement qualitative method, especially focus group interview, because I can collect deeper and richer data from the participants, and I can motivate participants to engage in the interview. So I think I can get more meaningful information from the participation. So I will conduct 2 and 3 focus groups interview based on the 3 different groups. One is professional organization managers, second fans, and third local citizens. So here's my conclusion. Considering stakeholder salience in professional sports organization, managers should concentrate their attention to key stakeholder groups such as fans and a local community, because they are a key stakeholder for sports organization. Second, stakeholder salience plays a vital role in leading to successful CSR marketing. This is done.
You're on mute, Dr. Wong.
Okay, you have a couple of pauses for you. Thank you. Okay, suggestions, comments, and questions for Wen-Yang.
I think that your focus groups, it might be better to do 3 and separate out the participants. So like one of them is just fans, one of them is just the community members, et cetera, because you might find some differences or maybe similarities across all of them, but it might be, if you have them all mixed together, people might not be as vocal or wanting to share if they have differing opinions from others in the focus group.
Yeah.
Very, very, very good comment.
Very good. Thank you very much. Good point.
Okay, somebody else? No? Okay, so let's just show your 3 research questions here. Okay, people take a look at the research questions. Can you improve upon it or help them?
I think that the last 2 could be answered somewhat with like a yes or a no, so maybe including more how or why.
Yes,
That's what qualitative studies do. Okay, so how would you, anybody who's trying to, how would you help them to rephrase those 2 questions?
I think I will change open question.
How would you phrase it?
maybe like why is it important to identify stakeholder groups who are salient for the organization?
So before we do that, why don't you go back to your title page? Let's see what he's supposed to be looking at. Okay, so that is a larger theme
Yes.
of his paper. So now go to the questions now. Now remember, those questions are supposed to address these things. So you go back to your question page. Look at the questions again.
Yes, the marketing part kind of throws me off a little bit.
That's probably because his advisor is a marketing guy. So if you look at the first question, really, that first question is the general question,
Yeah.
the theme of the proposal here, isn't it?
Yes.
Almost word for word. Okay, so he's trying to look for the relationship between stakeholder salience and CSR activity, right?
Yes.
So when he presented his proposal, do you get an idea what he wanted out from CSR activity? What are you looking at? Are you suggesting stakeholder salience influence a different type of CSR? Is it? I mean, what is it that you wanna? What is it from the CSR part of the literature that you said you now know but want to find out?
How I would like to know how the stakeholder salience influence CSR.
Yeah, stakeholder salience. That part
Yes.
we got. I think that part. I think we all got because you basically use Mitchell Law's paper.
Yeah.
I have something to say on that. So we know that stakeholder salience will help management to identify which group they should deal with first, right?
Yes.
They prioritize, they rank them, right? Rank them, prioritize. So how would ranking them? What is it that now that you rank them, what is it that you want to see in CSR? And that is the part you still need to find out. You still need to think a little bit about, okay, so let's say I identify, fans that's the most important group that I need to think about, right?
Yeah.
Then what is it about CSR you wanna find out? Now that you rank them. Is it the type activity? Is that the reach of the activity? Is that what is it that you want to find out from the CSR lit review? Again, the lit review tells you what's been done, what we know, and what else do you want to know.
Okay.
And in your case, in particular, how stakeholders can help you with that. Okay?
Yeah.
So I think that when we talk about CSR in that unit, somebody brought out the point that sometimes these activities are looked upon as mere PR deal and not really sincere, right? So for example, how would stake salience help to organization design CS activity that is more than just PR, for example? Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, so besides those, you want to take a look at your method section. Now, again, I don't want to put too much on this. I hope this is not your thesis. If it is, you're not going to graduate because it's too big.
Okay.
Look at what you're trying to get. Professional sport organization managers. How many are you getting? And then you need to look at their fans. and then the local citizen. Then how do you define that?
Oh.
How much money do you have to try to get hold of them? That's too big.
It's too big.
You need to focus.
Okay.
Okay, maybe just look at one group, maybe managers first, or maybe fans first, doesn't matter. Look at one group, and again, whatever group it has to be able to offer you some answer in terms of the theme of your study.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Classes. Yeah. Oh, your Freeman. I don't know if you misread Freeman. You want to go up to the stakeholder page, the internal, external.
Oh yeah.
Did Freeman really say government is an internal stakeholder? Are you sure?
Oh. No, my bad.
Okay. I mean, just like intuition
Yeah.
says that it's not. So I noticed that you used almost Freeman and Mitchell and all exclusively of course the other one, Myjar, you should also
Yeah.
you should also look, and then I'm gonna give you one more here. Where are you? Here. Anybody? All right. Anybody who's doing stakeholder or has stakeholder may consider this one. Ever see it?
Yes.
So this is the title, and I'll give you the citation. The journal is in a little. You take a screenshot of it. Bigger. Okay, take a screenshot at it, and then this is actually stakeholders in specifically to also the sport environment. And then it is from, you can see here, International Sport Journal, Winter 2004. Okay, I mean, Freeman obviously is the father of stakeholder theory. Mitchell's piece is very significant. You should read more on stakeholders, because the stakeholders, if I may, an important variable, you need to read more about it. Okay, see what's been done. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Last but not least, question. You have to con.
Okay, so my presentation is MLB leadership effective in meeting the needs and wants of its stakeholders?